Welcome to Howard Brown Barber and Beauty Institute. Today we are doing the review for facial massage. Let's begin. What action should you not use on the center of the neck? Pressing down, stroking gently, applying lotion, touching. If you chose A, pressing down, you are correct. What part of the body should you avoid tapping because tapping in that area will feel unpleasant to the client? Forehead, cheeks, neck, jawbone. If you chose D, jawbone, you are correct. What is feathering? Use of feathers for soft touching during a massage. Use of quick, bird-like movements during a massage. Term for the slowing down movements at the end of a massage. Practice of resting a client on a feather pillow during a massage. If you chose C, term for the slowing down movements at the end of a massage, you are correct. What is true about the décolleté? That is where you end your massage procedure. This area of the body should be avoided during massage. This is the single most important area during a massage. That is where you begin your massage procedure. If you chose D, that is where you begin your massage procedure, you are correct. How many milliliters of product should you use on the facial area? 5, 10, 15, 25. If you chose A, 5, you are correct. What is acupressure? Use of needles to stimulate parts of the body. Oriental technique of applying pressure to specific body points. Use of measuring tools to ensure precise massage movements. Use of a blood pressure gauge during massage to monitor health. If you chose B, Oriental technique of applying pressure to specific body points, you are correct. What is chucking? Application of pressure to specific points of the body. Light, continuous stroking movement applied with fingers. Deep, rubbing movement requiring pressure on the skin. Grasping flesh in one hand while the other hand holds the limb. If you chose D, grasping flesh in one hand while the other hand holds the limb, you are correct. Why is the Dr. Jacquet movement beneficial to oily skin? It presses sebum deeper into the follicles away from the surface. It helps move sebum out of the follicles and up the skin surface. The friction of the movement normalizes the skin's pH. It causes the body to stop producing sebum. If you chose B, it helps move sebum out of the follicles and up the skin surface, you are correct. What is effleurage? Use of needles on pressure points, movement involving grasping flesh firmly with one hand, light, continuous stroking movement, deep rubbing movement. If you chose C, light, continuous stroking movement, you are correct. What is friction? Light, continuous stroking movement, deep rubbing movement, movement involving grasping flesh firmly with one hand, use of needles on pressure points. If you chose B, deep rubbing movement, you are correct. What is not a variation of friction? Chucking, rolling, ringing, effleurage. If you chose D, effleurage, you are correct. What is fulling? Form of petrissage, form of effleurage, variation of acupressure, variation of shiatsu. If you chose A, form of petrissage, you are correct. What is hacking? Deep rubbing movement requiring pressure on the skin, light, continuous stroking movement applied with fingers, movement involving grasping flesh firmly with one hand, chopping movement performed with the edges of the hands. If you chose D, chopping movement performed with the edges of the hands, you are correct. What is a characteristic of manual lymph drainage? Aggressive, irregular pressure, gentle, rhythmic pressure, strong, chopping motions, hard, kneading movements. If you chose B, gentle, rhythmic pressure, you are correct. What is the term for the manual or mechanical manipulation of the body by using movements to increase metabolism and circulation, among other effects? Massage, acupuncture, physical therapy, reconditioning. If you chose A, massage, you are correct. What improves overall metabolism and activates sluggish skin? Caffeine, massage, sun exposure, sugar. If you chose B, massage, you are correct. What should be performed for approximately 10 to 15 minutes during a facial? Extractions, facial massage, steaming, manicure, pedicure. If you chose B, facial massage, you are correct. What must estheticians be in order to perform deep tissue work? Licensed massage therapists, emergency medical technicians, licensed medical technicians, emergency massage technicians. If you chose A, licensed massage therapists, you are correct. Where should massage movements begin? Insertion, origin, joint, any point along the muscle. If you chose A, insertion, you are correct. What do inflamed acne, open lesions, and sunburn have in common? Clients with these conditions are badly in need of massage. Massage is contraindicated for clients with these conditions. Clients with these conditions should only receive gently massage. Clients with these conditions should only receive vigorous massage. If you chose B, massage is contraindicated for clients with these conditions, you are correct. When should you avoid vigorous massage? When you are too tired to perform vigorous massage. When you don't feel a client deserves vigorous massage. When a client has arthritis or other pain. When client has oily skin. If you chose C, when a client has arthritis or other pain, you are correct. When should you advise a client with reservations about facial massage to speak with a physician? After the first massage session, before performing massage, after a month of regular massage, after a year of regular massage. If you chose B, before performing massage, you are correct. What type of movements are used in petrissage? Kneading, chopping, poking, tapping. If you chose A, kneading, you are correct. Where do you apply pressure when performing reflexology? Hands, shoulders, legs, feet. If you chose D, feet, you are correct. What is rolling? Pressing and twisting tissues using a back and forth movement. Pressing but not twisting tissues. Twisting but not pressing tissues. Pressing and twisting tissues using a special tool similar to a rolling pin. If you chose A, pressing and twisting tissues using a back and forth movement, you are correct. What is not a type of movement characteristic of tapotement? Tapping, slapping, kneading, hacking. If you chose C, kneading, you are correct. What is a form of acupressure? Effleurage, petrissage, Dr. Jacquet movement, shiatsu. If you chose D, shiatsu, you are correct. What part of the esthetician's body must be kept flexible during slapping to ensure that the palms come into proper contact with the body? Wrists, elbows, shoulders, hips. If you chose A, wrists, you are correct. What type of movements are used in vibration? Rapid striking, rapid shaking, slow striking, slow shaking. If you chose B, rapid shaking, you are correct. When do the body's reflex receptors increase blood and lymph flow, resulting in a state of relaxation? When touch is sensed by the body, when heat is sensed by the body, when cold is sensed by the body, when moisture is sensed by the body. If you chose A, when touch is sensed by the body, you are correct. What does the central nervous system trigger when affected by massage? Rapid heartbeat, fight or flight reaction, stress, relaxation. If you chose D, relaxation, you are correct. To whom should you refer a client who wants a full body massage? Physical therapist, nurse practitioner, licensed massage therapist, chiropractor. If you chose C, licensed massage therapist, you are correct. What information can be found by referring to licensing regulations? Product ingredients, pricing scales, scope of practice, customer demographics. If you chose C, scope of practice, you are correct. What should you do during effleurage in order to avoid scratching the client? Avoid using lotions that might make the work surface slippery. Avoid using the ends of your fingertips. Avoid working in a warmth that might induce client perspiration. Wear thick gloves to ensure your skin doesn't touch the client's skin. If you chose B, avoid using the ends of your fingertips, you are correct. What is true of the tapotement? It is the most stimulating form of massage. It is the least stimulating form of massage. It is not a stimulating form of massage. Only licensed massage technicians can perform tapotement. If you chose A, it is the most stimulating form of massage, you are correct. How long should vibration be used on any one spot of the body? No more than a few seconds, no more than a minute, no more than 10 minutes, no more than 20 minutes. If you chose A, no more than a few seconds, you are correct. What is true of the left and right sides of the areas being massaged? Left side should receive more vigorous massage. Right side should receive more vigorous massage. Both sides of the body should be massaged simultaneously. Movements should be duplicated on both the right and left sides. If you chose D, movements should be duplicated on both the right and left sides, you are correct. What everyday movement is somewhat similar to the Dr. Jacquet movement? Squeezing the peel of an orange to make juice spray out, plucking seeds from a watermelon, peeling an apple, cracking open a walnut. If you chose A, squeezing the peel of an orange to make juice spray out, you are correct. Why should the Dr. Jacquet movement be avoided on areas of the skin that are infected or irritated? Client will experience piercing pain in those areas. Client will experience sudden bleeding in those areas. Too much pressure will rupture follicle walls, will cause an infection or irritation to rapidly spread all over the body. If you chose C, too much pressure will rupture follicle walls, you are correct. What type of movements are appropriate when massaging the area of beard growth on male clients? Downward, upward, sideways, diagonal. If you chose A, downward, you are correct. This concludes this lesson. Make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can find t-shirts and hoodies available on our YouTube channel for men and women. Make sure you get one while supplies last. Howard Brown, where learning never stops.